When it comes to finding scholarships, a lot of us just want an easy website that we can go to and it'll just give us a perfect list for scholarships for our student to apply to. Now, while I would love to say that is usually the best way to do it, it can be challenging because some search engines have a lot of junk on them. So what I wanted to do was update with a list of our 5 best scholarship websites for this year so that you and your family can streamline the search process a little bit. Now, make sure you hit subscribe because every week I have a new strategy for you and your family to work towards a debt-free degree. Hey there, my name is Jocelyn Pearson, founder of the Scholarship System, where we have helped families secure well over $15 million to date in scholarships. So we know a thing or two about where to find legitimate ones. Now, just a quick note, this is for U.S. citizens and permanent residents. We are not familiar with how it works for international students. Now, before I get into the list of search engine websites, I do want to say that at the Scholarship System, we actually have our own method of finding scholarships that are actually typically not on those search engines. The reason we want to go for those is because typically they'd be less competitive, right? Because if people don't know how to find them, they don't apply to them, so they're less competitive. The other thing is that using our search method, we can know that they're legitimate and we can make sure that they pertain to our student, that our student has a higher chance of being eligible for them. So it takes a little bit more work than just plug and play, putting in our basic info into a search engine and going through that list. But in the long run, you actually save time because the chances of it being a legitimate, valid scholarship that they actually can win are much higher. So that said, I want to invite you to our free webinar. So you can find the link in the description, or you can go to thescholarshipsystem.com/free webinar and you can register for that training. But stick with me for the rest of this video, but make sure you register for that next and you can attend that and learn the search method that we teach our families to do first. After maximizing that search method, then we can go to these search engines. Now, the other thing I want to point out is that when we're using these search engines, we have to know, is a scholarship legitimate or not? We have to be able to identify this. And this is where I love how parents can help students, okay? Finding the scholarships, building the list is one of the best places that a parent can influence the scholarship process without getting too involved in overdoing it, right? We don't want parents writing essays. We don't want parents doing everything for them, but finding them is a great way to let your student focus on the actual applying. But that said, we have to know what we're looking for. So we want to just say that we don't want to waste time on what we call the sweepstakes scholarships, ones that are based on luck. We never want to pay any kind of fee to apply. This is different than, say, for example, we have an online course you can purchase, but that is like an SAT prep course, but for scholarships, you're paying for knowledge to improve your students' chances of winning. That is different than paying for an actual application for a scholarship. So if they say pay $50 to apply for this scholarship, we don't want to do that. Now, that is different than paying to become a member of a club or organization, then that also offers scholarship money. But then we want to make sure that our student is benefiting from the organization outside of just that application, okay? Some examples might be honor societies or sororities, fraternities, business fraternities. These are groups that can benefit your student otherwise, and they also often offer local scholarships and national scholarships. Another red flag is if the scholarship asks for social security details or banking details. We do not want to put those on applications. Now, if your student is awarded the money, then it would make sense that they'd need some of this information. Nowadays, it's more the student ID than the social security number. Back when I was in school, they actually used our social as our student ID, which is just insanely unsafe and unsecure, but I like to think that now it's different. I will say that most of our scholarship recipients, because we give out scholarships through the scholarship system, they have some kind of student ID number. But again, this and socials and banking, there's no reason to share that on application. So that's a red flag as well. And the other thing is, if your student wins money and they actually didn't apply, probably a scam. They're probably trying to collect information and they're never going to get the money. That's like where we see someone saying, hey, I have $50,000. Give me your bank info and I'll transfer it to you. Sounds too good to be true, because it is, right? Okay, now just to go off of this, if you want more information on how to spot a scam versus a legitimate scholarship, I will link to an entire video that specifically shows you how to identify legitimate scholarships. So you can click on it probably here, or you can find the link in the description. So in the description, you'll have all of our free resources, the free webinar that I mentioned earlier, and that video and any others that come up. Okay, let's go ahead and get into the 5 top scholarship websites. So the first one that I want to talk about is BigFuture. It's by College Board. This is a tried and tested brand, so we know that it's pretty legitimate. This organization actually organizes the SAT and AP classes, a lot of college planning resources, but they have a large database of scholarships, and it is an easy to use tool. So they also have career guidance, financial aid tips, they college application advice, lots of things there. So College Board is just a great resource overall. The second one is actually by US News. It's a US News scholarship finder, and this is powered by US News and World Report, which is a trusted name in college rankings. If you've ever looked up college ranking lists, they let students search and filter through thousands of scholarships based on their criteria or their eligibility. They also have extra insight on admissions and financial aid as well. The third is Appily, which, by the way, we will link to these below as well, but Appily, which previously was Cappex, they help students find scholarships and colleges that fit their needs. You can also use them to find the best merit aid offers, which merit aid, that money is based on your students' credentials. So their competitiveness, maybe it's their test scores, leadership experience, community service, etc., versus financial need, where a lot of the external scholarships, they can be based on anything, right? They can even be based on being left-handed. We all have heard of that one. Cappex or Appily also does give advice. I think really all of these have advice on college admissions, career paths, financial aid. So it can also be just a good website to check out in general as well. Number 4 is one that we have promoted for many, many years. It's free, and we just always love their list because they're just really clean and full of legitimate scholarships. The only thing is that it's not necessarily a plug and play where you can just put in criteria and boom, you've got a list specific for your student. You have to you have to sift a little bit. But that's good news because a lot of students are not willing to sift. So by sifting, having to go through a bunch of scholarships, naturally they're probably going to be a little less competitive. This is actually, it's JLV College Counseling. And JLV College Counseling, this was created by a previous admissions counselor who was seeing the scholarship world. They have lists by major, they have lists by deadlines and more. And again, you cannot filter by, say, like GPA or test scores, but the scholarships are way more legitimate. A lot of those search engines where we can filter for, they're using bots to just pull scholarships and pull. And so a lot of the ones where that raise red flags for us, they just get naturally pulled in. And so we don't want to waste time on those. And JLVcollegecounseling.com, they don't include those. The fifth one is Unigo.com, and this has fun, unusual, academic, need-based, career-specific, lots of different scholarships on here. They do have a scholarship match tool that is based on your students' profiles, so again, it does filter it down pretty well. They also have college comparisons and reviews to help you select a college with your student. So again, you can use them for a lot more than just the scholarship search process. Now, again, all of these, no matter which one you're going to, you want to make sure that you are aware again of how to spot ones that we want to apply to versus ones that we don't want to waste time on. And I've got that video linked below on how to avoid getting scammed, okay? Now, comment below, are there any websites that you've found that you like or dislike? Share them below and we can let you know what our opinions are on there. Now, some of them that you probably have seen that are not on here, there's FastWeb, there's Scholarship Owl, there's a lot of big ones. And the challenge is, for example, one where your student submits one application and they're entered into 50 scholarships at once. There's probably thousands and thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of students doing the same thing. And so naturally, if it's found through one of those kind of websites, it's going to be pretty competitive, right? The other thing with, for example, FastWeb is you can find a lot of the sweepstake ones that we don't recommend applying to. So it just, again, takes sifting. This is why I really recommend our search method first and foremost. Build a list with ones that are not on these search engines. And then when we get those done, then we can turn our focus over to the search engines and continue on applying. So again, check out that free webinar that I mentioned where I show you all how to do searching my way. So you can, again, register at thescholarshipsystem.com/free webinar for that. Okay, so that said, I just gave you 5 of our top scholarship websites, along with lots of other tips, how to identify legitimate ones versus scams, what are red flags when we're doing this searching. So I hope that this was helpful. If so, give us a thumbs up. Make sure that you hit subscribe. We've got a new strategy for you every single week. But when we're doing the scholarship search, we want to find as many legitimate scholarships as possible. We cannot expect to submit 5, 10 scholarships and we've got a free ride. That's unfortunately just not going to be the case. It requires work, yes, but with the scholarship system and our 6 steps, it can require a lot less work because we can be more efficient using proven tools and a proven process. All right, I hope that this was helpful. I will see you guys in the next video.